quick explanation on this assignment. So, ecosystem events and relationships. Real quick, if you don't remember how to find it under ecosystem events and relationships CER, I need to post it for the other classes. I only have it for period 2 right now. My bad. You'll have. Oh, let's go back. Let's go back. Classwork. All right. So if you go right here, you got this thing. We got a Google Doc right here that I want you to work on. All right. If you open that thing up, like I said, everything is right here. So this information, to me, it would be most easiest if you used both this sheet filled out. Okay, maybe the questions you answered right here. A lot of stuff. This to me is like your evidence. Okay, a lot of evidence going on right here. Okay, maybe along with the competition reading. I think if you reflect back and think about the what you call it, Lion King video, along with the Finding Nemo video, that stuff might all be pretty useful. Okay, but a quick explanation on how this stuff worked. Okay, if you don't remember, when you played this thing, you had a die for organisms, a die for factors. What you were supposed to do is roll the die, and based on what you got, you should be able to kind of fill this thing out, okay? So let's make some hypotheticals here that might help you guys out, if this will allow me to. That's not going to work. All right, whatever. Should have tested this out before. All right, so let's do some hypothetical die rolls here, okay? So let's say one of them we roll is a rabbit, and the other one we roll is, say, I don't know, water. Okay, the factor is water. Is water biotic or abiotic? So based on that right there, you have a biotic or abiotic, and then it's a rabbit. So we have, how does a rabbit and water have a relationship, right? How do they interact with each other on some level? And if I'm thinking about it, does a rabbit need water to live? For sure. If there is no water, what's going to happen to the rabbit? That population is going to die. So it sounds like the rabbit is dependent on the water. So I call that for sure a dependent relationship. Okay. Now, one of the funny things that some people pointed out though is, let's say it was rabbit and soil. I heard a lot of arguing over this, that if you put rabbit here and soil here, soil being abiotic, that there is no relationship. Rabbits don't eat soil. Okay. Well, there are other things that you can kind of look at. One, a lot of rabbits, like wild ones, they dig, they burrow. So does the soil matter there? Yeah, I think it for sure does, right? If there is less quality soil for burrow digging, then the rabbits are exposed to the outside world, at night or whatever. What the heck is going to happen to them? They're going to die. They're going to get eaten. Okay, but even aside from that, if we're not talking about rabbits burrowing, if we look at soil, there's a connection here, and we're talking about like it might be an indirect connection. If you know that a rabbit maybe eats some kind of plant, let's just say, I know they like dandelions, okay, but if you guys don't have a visual for a dandelion, maybe they just eat grass. Does grass grow in soil? Yeah. So if a rabbit eats grass and grass grows in soil, what happens if we don't have enough soil? Okay, depleting the soil would have less grass or result in less grass, which would result in a stunted, affected population for the rabbits. That to me is that butterfly effect, that chain reaction, that domino effect thing that a lot of you guys have been talking about. Okay, so I would still call that a dependent relationship. You just got to be able to explain it. Okay, so to me, if you ever rolled sunlight, that one's always going to be dependent. All of these things depend on sunlight on some level. Okay? So just kind of think about that. Later on in the day, some of you were struggling on competitive relationships. So where are our competitive relationships? I see a couple. Okay? A rabbit and a cow, those are both herbivores. So what is a rabbit and a cow going to compete with? Rabbit and a cow, they would compete with some other plant-eating animal. What if we introduce some other plant-eating animal that eats a whole bunch of grass? What's going to happen if that population grows rapidly for some reason versus the rabbit and the cow? We're going to be in trouble. All right. Other than that, let's go with coyote and hawk. Those are carnivores. So compare that to another meat-eating animal. Okay, those are our examples of competition. So if the animals that it competes with increase rapidly, what's going to happen? If the animals that it competes with decrease rapidly, what's going to happen? All right. The other ones that we can look at, just if you need a quick explanation, let's say grass. Here's an obvious one. The grass, it depends on soil, water, sunlight, all of these. Okay. And the plant even. These are direct relationships. If we have a sudden decrease in these factors right here, how is that going to affect the grass and the flowering plant? All right. Less of this, because grass depends on it, we're going to have less grass. Okay. More of this, within reason, more of that right there. Okay. Hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. If it doesn't, loop mail me, ask questions, chat on School Loop, chat on Google Classroom, whatever. But yeah, let's try to figure this thing out. It's due in 2 days, so hopefully you watch this video. And if you are lost, you can talk to me the next day. All right, now let's see. Let's go back to the Google Classroom assignment. It says, write a specific explanation that describes the relationship between organisms and the factors that organisms depend on for life. Use specific examples from your graphic organizer to support your explanation. So again, I can't repeat it enough. I see examples right here. Okay? So some of the stuff that we should see hopefully in our evidence is dependent, D-E-P-E-N-D-E-N-C-E, and competition, increases and decreases in population. Okay? Hi. Hello. So, should be able to figure that out. Okay? I don't think there's anything else that I need to mention. Actually, I misspoke. I don't like population. Let's say increase and decreases in the factors. So if a factor you compete with increases or decreases, what's going to happen? If a factor you depend on increases or decreases, what's going to happen? All right. These are all things that you should have in your CER if you are doing it completely with, trying to get your full credit on this thing. Okay, anyway, loop mail me, ask me questions if you have any, or chat on the discussion board. Okay, next video.